Day to all my Indian colleagues, friends, and champs. So, today we are going to start with another chapter with Delhi, Gurgaon, and NCR as the region. And we welcome our organizers, Rachid and Ankush Grover, over here. And thank you for here again. So, what we have today for us. So, what we are going to do. So first we'll give you a brief about what champs is, what are news, upcoming leaves, and what the all session is all about. And the last part of this particular session will be a Q&A. Of course, if you have any queries, you can always go and come up ask onto the chat window. Whenever the presenter will have a time, they can take up the queries in between the session as well as we'll take the session, as well as we'll take the queries in the end of the session as well. So what we are, who we are. So Dynamics 365 champs are the short form which we come up with the D365 champs over here. We started our journey in 2018. There was a requirement, or it was a kind of a need that being in Asia, which is one of the largest section in Microsoft community, there were very lack of communities over here. So we started a community in 2018 with some Singapore folks, which were almost 10 plus leads over there. We started from the Singapore, Malaysia, and then we have spread across almost 20 plus countries now. Okay, by 2020, we have spread our links, as I said, 20 plus more countries, which actually has Singapore, Malaysia, Australia, South Africa, UK, and so many more, which you can actually find our associates as well in that particular thing. We are coming up with so many of the new features and initiatives as well. So earlier we had started with the Power Virtual Hour, which is managed by Ruhi, and where every month we do a session over there. We have this Power Virtual Meetup, which is a kind of another need. Earlier we had done some meetups in as a physical meetups with Delhi, Bangalore, and other like Mumbai. And because this COVID situation, we started with the virtual meetups. Once the situations are normal, we'll surely try to get into in-person meetups. We also have different channels with us. Okay, the another initiative which we have started is empower the students, where we are going to go to the universities or the colleges, and we are going to give them a kind of idea or insights on Microsoft technologies. Now it's not only Power Platform, wherever whatever stack you want to take with. If you want to get part of this particular thing, you can surely connect us, and we can take it forward from there. And you can educate the students on the Microsoft platforms like Power Platform, Dynamics 360 for all. And that's what we want to empower our next generation on the Microsoft technologies. Now, how you can connect with us? So there are four mediums, as well as you can directly come and contact us over the email as well as the phone numbers which are present onto your social media channels. So you can connect us through LinkedIn, Twitter, Kaizala. Kaizala, we have almost 700 plus members joined to our teams. There are various channels over there. To join Kaizala, you have this QR code over here. You can actually go and scan it. We are also going to put this into your chats, and during your meetup, you can go and connect to the channels over here if you're already not done. If you, we are always in the search of new talent in terms of when they want to present their capabilities or their ideas or their any solutions they have made for their customers, or if they are learning anything new. So if you want to speak at the Power Platform meetup, so you can scan this QR code. It's not really required that it should be a technical or it should be only functional. If you come across any kind of solutions which you have made on the top of Power Platform or Dynamics, anything, you can go and present that over here. Or if it is anything technical you're doing and you want to present it, that should be available to general public, so you can always come up and do it over here. So whatever you want to present, you can just connect us for this kind of speaking sessions over here. What about quick needs and quick updates and news over here? So there is a very good news for us. Gartner has positioned Dynamics 365 Field Service as a solution in a Magic Content Leader in their this one charts. Wave 2, which is again available, and the public features are released now in the first week of August, and they are getting released, so you can go and expose them. This was again the last week's news, but we still want to continue with this week as well. That Prashant Shukla has started this Empower session, which I just explained about the new thing we are going to take up in the future, as well as it's already been continued. So we did our first Empower session in Delhi college itself, which was done by Prashant Shukla, and we shout out for that as well. We have uploaded the Pune meetup video on the YouTube channel, and you can go, and if you have missed that one, you can surely go and take that over there. Dipesh, onto you. So we have some lined up sessions over here in August. So one is into Chennai. Unfortunately, due to some unavoidable situations or personal reasons, Dharani is not going to be available on that particular sessions, but show must go on, and we'll be doing that particular session with Yavar Iqbal. And that is again insightful session, something new onto Teams and Power Apps, which is very rare touched point over here. Then we have another session on 29th August, which is going to given by our champs lead Roma Gupta, and that is on the basics of Power Apps, where you can learn on most of the basic things which we might not look at in the Power Apps, and where she is going to touch base upon. Dipesh.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, Vivek. So, as an initiative, just a quick note from Dynamicity, always ready to support any kind of community, and there's a need to support one here. We are a Dynamics and Power Platform partner. We work with implementation, upgrade, managed services, and trainings. There are, of course, needs of more sponsors. So far, I spoke on behalf of Dynamicity. Yes, we have taken the initiative with the Dynamicity being one of the sponsors, but we have so many more initiatives coming up. So if you are belonging from an organization who is ready to support the local or global community for champs, feel free to reach out as well. I need to also talk about our two local organizers. The idea of this organizers and meetups is that we get the local organizers to keep going, because the day we go again in-person meetup, maybe this year and next year, we need local people around. So I'll want to let everyone be aware that for this particular meetup, we have Ankush Grover and Rachit Mathur. Both of them belong to Delhi NCR region. So welcome to your first meetup. The only reason Vivek and me and others will be talking today is to assist this transition. We want the same thing to be done to all the other meetups, like last one we did for Pune. Eventually, we would want actually in-person people who are present there to be organizing this as well, and that's the way we can support the community. Another thing that is important, I think, to make everyone realize is why the community is required, right? Every time I've seen that people are always worried, like, where should I learn? It is coming so quick, naming is changing, this is happening, that is happening. These are the only positive ways of making each other learn. So we have to support our community and go forward. There are other organizers also which are doing it endlessly every week on week, including Prashant from Australia, Roma from South Africa. Vivek is there. Vivek, you already heard for a while. And maybe I have few more, and all these people are doing it selflessly, just for everybody's learning. It is just 1 hour we spend, but these people have to take, like, I will take example from Sagar, who took the session for custom connectors. He was awake till 5 a.m. last Friday, and this was not his project deliverable. So this is a true passion, and it gives lot of containment, and you feel really good about sharing, and as well as continue our learning. So that's the message I wanted to pass, and I'll want to give Ankush and Rachit quick minute to introduce themselves, and then maybe Vivek, you can take back again to introduce our speaker for today. She's a great consultant, and
Sure.
then we'll move forward. So over to you, Ankush and Rachit. Can you give your quick introductions?
Yeah, thanks, Dipesh. This is Ankush Grover. I met Dipesh and Vivek last year. So it's been almost 1 year, and it's been a great learning. Like I have joined Kaiser the same day we met. So for me, it's a great transformation. I can see on myself like the way I was early and the way currently I am. So thank you guys for this. And currently I'm working with IBM, and I am a functional consultant. That's it from my side. Like a brief introduction.
Hey,
Over to
hi, Dipesh. Thank you so much for the introduction. Hi, everyone. Happy Independence Day to everyone. This is Rachit Mathur. I belong to Delhi. This is a great session to be a part of, and going forward, I plan to be part of all of the sessions because, of course, for the Microsoft community, this is one of the best things that could have happened in our part of the world. Of course, everyone of us knows that various Microsoft communities are being run effectively all throughout the world, but we were absolutely in dire need of having one such community in this part of the world as well, which thanks to D365 champs and the whole community, it is coming up really well. I'm very excited to be part of this. I'll just give you a quick introduction of what I do. I have been in the CRM industry for more than 8 years now, where I have worked on multiple CRMs in implementation, in pre-sales, and digital transformation and customer experience transformation. In Microsoft, I have been working for just over an year and still coming to terms with various things, specifically on the customer service side. But of course, it's a great platform with great potential, and I'm definitely looking forward to more sessions and maybe contributing to these sessions in a very big way. Thanks.
Thank you, Rachit. Thank you, Ankush. So let's call our today's speaker, Preeti Pipalia, who is SME. She has almost 7+ years experience in Dynamics as well as other technologies. She's very good into her technical skills, say Power Platform, into Power Apps, and then Power Portals. She has recently worked on a very well designed Power Portal, which was for kind of municipalities in one of the European countries. And she's going to present us today the Power Portal and the liquid templates in that. So Priti, you can take up the session from here. Thank you for joining us all, and once again, Happy Independence Day. Priti, on to you.
Yes, thank you,
Yeah.
Vivek, for the quick introduction. Um, I'd like to share my screen quickly. Okay, so here we are. Hello, Jam. A very warm welcome to today's session and a very happy Independence Day to all. I am Preeti. As Vivek told, I have been working with D365 technologies for more than 7 years with a brief experience with working technologies too. So I am right now working in Ahmedabad as a consultant for Dynamics 365. And the subject for the session today is extending total capability using liquid templates. Although there are various ways of extending totals, and there are various methodologies or people are following many practices, we are going to specifically focus on liquid templates today because that is something I feel that has a large scope and it has got a lot of potential to extend your totals. So moving forward, what will be the agenda for this today's session? We'll briefly look to the totals overview, what all are the components that are basically that forms the basis for the totals. So they are very important. And what are the various ways of extending totals? And with some examples, we will have hands-on experience specifically with liquid templates and some of the
Sorry,
illustrations.
sorry to break you, Preeti, but the
Yeah.
voice has been breaking a lot for us. At least
Oh,
for
is that?
few of us, I tried to verify. Yes.
Okay.
Can you once check your mic, please?
Yes, I'm checking. Am I audible now? Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah, we can hear you. You can
Okay.
be just louder, Preeti, nothing else.
Yeah, sure. No problem. Okay. So, moving ahead, portals have become a buzzword in our platform communities these days. And everyone may have a basic understanding of portals by now. So, what we are going to do is today we will be going a level up to today's topic, and let's just go to know a little more about portals. So, okay. So, to start with, let's have a brief look through the history of portals. With its first release in 2009, ADX Studio, which was a CMS platform built using Dynamics CRM, allowed organizations build web-based portals to engage with their end customers online. So the core idea of this technology was to allow people to interact with Dynamics data via web
Sorry,
without,
Preeti, the voice
yeah,
is really breaking. It is, you see, there are multiple people who are paying this as well.
okay.
It
Um,
seems like you're far away from the mic, Preeti.
no, actually, I am connected on headphones. Let me try
It
with
is it
the
is
default
better
speed.
right now.
It is better
Okay,
right now.
is that so?
Yeah.
Much better, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I hope I'm audible now.
Yes, Preeti.
Better.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so coming back, the core idea of this technology was to allow people to, interact with the Dynamics data via web without requiring them to access the Dynamics interfaces. So the common features of portals in earlier days, while in 2009, they included help desk and a searchable knowledge base. Since the platform was directly built in Dynamics, it never needed to synchronize portals data with Dynamics data. Nowadays, we see a lot of changes, but the core has remained the same. Moving forward in 2015, the platform went through some of the biggest changes during the transition when Microsoft acquired it in September. So while ADX Studio was offering something that could be self-hosted and work with Dynamics on-premise and online instances both, the Microsoft version became software as a service that could only connect to online instances. So by this time, the customers were already started opting for online versions of D365. But to support the on-prem customers, Microsoft released the source code of Dynamics 365 portal under an open source license, along with the managed versions of D365 solutions to manage the portals. So this on-prem customers were able to create and host their own portals. It basically served as a lifeline for the ADX portals till 2018 when they were finally taken off the shelf. Since then, Microsoft has been broadly working on improving performance and various features for portals. And in early 2019, there came the Power Apps portals that we right now know. So they began transitioning from Dynamics family to Power Platform, and that's when it became Power Apps portals. They can be also connected with the CDS or Apps instance, which is not necessary where you have to install your Dynamics 365 apps also. So it can work with basic CDS also. Um, the okay, so the portals are very similar with Canvas-based apps because there were a few basic functionality overlap, but the main difference was that Power Apps users needed to have Azure Active Directory accounts and Power Apps licenses, where portals do not require those licenses, and they can access the portals as anonymous users also. They are open to external users. So the portals that we have these days have various capabilities, and the key capabilities of these portals are content, functionality, extensibility, and security. So these are the pillars of the portals today. If we talk about the content, the portals are based on Bootstrap. So you can create seamless and responsive web designs for any user on any device. So it also comes with a faceted search that is enabled by default for users to find the content they want. It searches from forums or blogs or knowledge articles that are posted on your portal. So, and there can be multilingual portals also if you are targeting audience in various regions of world. So it will be useful. And if we talk about the functionality, we can quickly build a secure and functional website with least or no coding required. As we know, it is a low code, no code platform. So, and it also provides some pre-configured portal templates to address some common specific needs of the target audience. Um, the customer interaction can be captured in the form of the feedback or whatever the comments they are posting. And if we talk about the extensibility, we can integrate portals with systems like SharePoint or Power BI. That's the latest addition to the feature. Then there are various components such as web templates, entity lists, entity forms. These are all to define a standard way to process and render content on the portal. However, we can also extend them with custom development to solve the complex scenarios, which is given by client-side JavaScript or using liquid templates or calling the web APIs from JavaScript. So these are some options you can extend your custom needs. And talking about the security, so all the data that is used to build the content of the portal, it is protected through a security model and can be customized for the target audience. We use generally web roles and entity permissions. So the content on the portal is secured whether you want to give access to particular users for what data. So that is all customizable and you can configure those rights and privileges. So another thing is you can also integrate third-party authentications. They also support some of them, like there are some social media authenticators. Then if we talk about the portal templates, so now when you configure a new portal, there are certain portal templates available to speed up the deployment. So these portals are pre-configured and you can use directly. I mean, there is a starting point. You don't have to do everything from the scratch. So they provide a basis for specific needs or specific scenarios. And you can select one of them at the time of provisioning a new portal. So there are community portal or customer self-service, partner portal, and employee self-service. So these are all they are connected with the D365 apps. So whenever you have an environment which is also having any of the D365 apps, and you want to provision a portal, then you can use this any of these templates as a basis and create your own portal and customize it further. And for CDS instances, that is without D365 apps, you must begin with a starter portal because you don't have any app in the background to support the data. So it will be your custom database. And for the instances with D365, as I told, you can select any template. Now, there are various core components of portals that forms the basis of portals and which is the metadata of portals. So we can say that the portals is made of these core components, which is important to understand. First is web pages. This is the real content that we are getting to see, where we put all the content that we want to display on our portal. So, portal content is in a way presented by the web pages. It is a particular URL in the website, and it is one of the core entities. You can list these web pages to form the hierarchy that we call sitemap. Now, each web page is composed of at least two metadata records. One is the root web page record, which contains the main attributes of the web page, uh, and a content web page record that holds the language specific content that is used in case where you are provisioning a multilingual portal. So there will always be a content web page for every language that exists on your portal. Next is page template, where it defines the layout and the behavior of the content that is defined in the web page. So the page web the page template defines how the page should look and how it is rendered on the portal. They must be linked with web pages. So every web page will have a page template. So there are two basic types of page templates. One is rewrite. These templates specially use server-side processing for a specific behavior that is required for some components such as polls or columns. And they can also use, they're also used to handle special pages such as error page and sitemap or search or others. So these are inbuilt and you cannot edit the existing rewrite templates. And either we can create them. Another type is web, which is the layout template that defines how the content of the page is rendered for output. And we are able to define the web template, the web templates with the page templates with web type. We can create and edit them whenever required. Web templates is we can use liquid templating language to define how the content is processed and rendered on the portals. They are flexible and can be reused to form different parts of content. It can also be based on another template that extends the base functionality. Web templates can be used to define an entire web page, part of the web page, or the common elements such as header and footer. You can use web templates to create consistent appearance through the portal, or can also represent various sections in your portal with different web templates on each section. They are really easy to modify. Then there are web files. They are the inline or downloadable content which is externally provided in the portal. So if you have some JavaScript or custom theme files, you can upload them in web files, or you have some images to be processed on the portal, or you have some documents to be downloadable, then you can upload those documents and those code files, JavaScripts, whether CSS or images in the web files. And if you are dealing with a large number of documents, the Azure Blob Storage is recommended as it is really cost efficient. Then we have content snippets that are reusable and editable fragments, which can be placed within web templates, and these they are used to create a consistent appearance throughout the site. Like you can identify some of the reusable tags or some the header, the company name or something like that, which is going to be consistent. So you can define one snippet at a time and will be reusable every time whenever you have to show it on your web page, so that it will be a consistent and it will be a consistent appearance for your web page. They can include plain text. They can have HTML layout, and they also support the liquid code. Then we have entity lists and entity forms. Entity lists are the list of entity records. That
Sorry,
is,
Preeti.
yes,
I just wanted to make an announcement for everybody that
yes.
this meeting is getting recorded. So please be aware of that, just in case you don't want to be recorded, although you're not showing your face, but it's your choice. If you don't want to be recorded, please be aware of that. Otherwise, please stay and enjoy the session and this insightful conversation with Preeti. Sorry about that, Preeti. Please continue.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so the entity list. They are the entity records that are being displayed from your data, whether it is CDS or your D365 apps. So they can also have filtering and sorting functionalities. So basically, the entities which you have in your database, they have views and which you can define in your model-driven apps. And these views can also have filtering and sorting. So these are the same views that you are getting to expose on the portals, which looks which gives a very similar look and feel experience on the portals also, although they have a specific mannerism on portals. So basic searching, filtering, and sorting functionalities are there on these entity lists. Then we have entity forms, which provides the ability for portal pages to interact with the entity record, which can be accessed in three different modes. One is read only, where you will like to fully show the details of any entity record. And another is insert and edit, whether you want to allow to create or edit the same record. Then you can enable these settings. They are on the entity forms itself. And again, they are coming from the model driven app. So whatever is the presentation of your entity form you want to be on the portal, you can design it on your model driven apps and expose it by connecting it to your web page and display the data in a particular format. So these are the main core components of the portals. There are basically three ways that you can edit these components. One is a portal studio that is very popular because it is a very user-friendly drag and drop kind of interface where you are getting a preview also of the page that you are designing. Then we have a portal management app, which is basically the app where all the metadata of your portal is shown. It's added entities which are not shown in Portal Studios also. So if you are a non-developer, then I think you should opt for Portal Studios because it is easy to configure from there. And if you are a developer and are also familiar with the portal structure and its core entities, then you can easily use the portal management app. And another way is the front end editing tools, which you will be able to see when you log into the portal as a portal admin. So they are the inline editing tools where you can just type in the changes and can see the changes immediately. So this was about the core components. Now there are ways of extending portals. Although the portals is a low code, no code solution to build the portals on Power Apps, it rarely happens where you can get away with just basic configurations. So it often occurs that requirements need to be addressed with extensive development. And Power Apps portals can be extended in several ways. Uh, some of them is liquids, then web templates, JavaScript, companion apps, and CSS. So JavaScript and CSS is most common, and mostly people know about these. Liquid template is a little uh, is very less popular because it is not being used very much. So we'll dig a little deeply into this. And there are web templates. So just have an overview of all these ways. First is Liquid, where it is basically a markup language. It's an open source markup language where you can embed these Liquid codes in web pages, content snippets, web templates. So it's used to create dynamic content and to display the CDS records dynamically. These Liquid codes are executed at the server side. Then is web templates. Portals are generally provisioned with a predefined set of web templates that define how a page is structured. So we can modify them and create new web templates to address our specific requirements. For example, if we create a web template to display data in a specific layout, by default, there is an entity list. But if we want to change it to some custom layout, then we will be creating web templates. Then we have JavaScript. These codes can be embedded in web pages, web templates, and entity forms or entity lists. So the JavaScript is basically to enhance the client-side interface and add some input validations or calling some external web services or web APIs. So another important application of JavaScript is that when you design the form in your model-driven app, you may be using some custom JavaScript web resources or some business tools on entity forms that are not supported in portals. So you may like to replicate the same functionality on portals using these JavaScripts. So that's why this is important. And if we talk about the CSS, it can be used to enhance the overall appearance or the behavior of the total web pages. So, and also you can replace the small JavaScript codes with CSS, like setting the visibility of some element that can be handled with a CSS too. And another option is like sometimes we may require to connect to CDS or to communicate with CDS without submitting an actual request. So whether it can be a create or update of any data record. So a common technique used for this is a custom web app that is built outside the Power Apps. It can be using web apps feature of Azure App Service or Azure Functions. Then they will expose an API that can be securely called from JavaScript on portal pages, and those web APIs will interact with the CDS data. So these are the companion apps, how you can extend with those. And now we'll be soon moving to the actual examples. But before that, let's have a basic understanding of Liquid templates. So as I said, it is a markup language, and every language have some basics like operators, then types, some specific things with liquids is objects, tags, and filters. So they are a little different from other languages. Operators and basic data types are similar. So you can see the basic operators and types which are listed over here also. So they are mostly common. And the thing which I would like to highlight is the objects. These are the objects that are the attributes which output the dynamic content on your web pages. For example, the page object has an attribute that is title. So you can access that page title using this page dot title. So page is your object and title is the attribute of your object, which is inbuilt, I mean default, and you can directly access. You do not need to define or supply value for these objects. So there are many common objects already available that are that you can use to access the metadata or the properties of those metadata. And there is tags. Tags are different types, like control flow tags. There are iteration tags. So these are the programming logic that tells the templates how to do and what to do. So tags are basically represented in the curly braces and the percentage sign. So this is a specific way where like we have to use those tags in your liquid codes. For objects, it's the pair of two curly braces. Now we have filters. We have different kind of filters to modify the outputs of our content. It may be some string, or it can be number or array or some objects. So they are basically and a function applied to your basic object. So some of the examples is like you want to change the case of your string, then some mathematical calculation is there. You would like to append some string or the value of a variable to an existing string. Then you have some array operations, and there is also functionality where you can render the list, or you can manipulate those lists. Like if you have records from some entity view, then you can filter out on basis of one of the fields or a specific value. So these are small things which can be addressed by liquid templates, so you don't have to do extensive coding. So now just let's just move to the examples that we have covered. So basically, if we talk about the different methods.
One second.
Yeah.
Anybody has any queries, you can use the chat window, or you can feel free to unmute yourself at this point because we almost have 15 minutes to go. So if anybody has any queries till this point, you can feel free to ask now. Okay, Priti, you can continue.
Okay. So as I was talking about the different ways we can edit our portal, one is the portal management app, and another is the portal studio. So the portal management app is that you can see in your apps list on your Power Apps, Make.Power Apps, or in your environment. And the management app looks something like this, where you have all the code entities listed here, and every details or the whole metadata of the portal is available here, and you can edit them or create them here. Another is the portal studio, which is a user-friendly experience, which is a drag and drop, where you see a preview of your home portal and you can go on creating and editing your web pages, and keep on keep the tab on your the how it looks, and you can design on the way. So I have taken a simple example of a starter portal, which is without any CDS, I mean, without any D365 apps, which is based on only CDS, and that's why it is a starter portal. If you are configuring any pre-configured portal, then you might have somewhat different looking portals. So yeah. And another, the last way of editing these portals is the inline editing, which I talked about, and that is visible whenever you have logged in with the admin portal. I mean the portal administrator role. So basically, you need to you get to see all the components which are forming your portals from here. So you get to create a new child page here. While creating a new web page, you can create this through this inline editing tool. So this is really easy, and you can go on while configuring the whole code. So you get to see all this over here also. So for now, I will be signing out so that it doesn't disturb us. Okay. So coming on to some of the specific examples is this is your starter portal. The basic starter portals looks like you have a pre-configured basic portal with some pages that are already in place, and they are well designed with some custom layouts. So those layouts can be accessible from here. So these are all the page templates which are already configured. I have some of custom layouts over here. So you can see these are some of the templates which cannot be edited because they are the rewrite templates that we talked about. And if you have a web type of page template, then you can easily edit. So this is the combination of HTML and the liquid code. So you can also use the JavaScript or CSS in your code. So this is a preview of your code editor, and you can use these. You can use this code editor to edit your template from here itself. And if you go to the equivalent part of this in Portal Management app, then you get to see the page templates. These are the page templates here, and you have to connect the different web templates. So the portals come with a long list of web templates already designed for you. You can use them in your web pages or make combinations of web templates by using one of them as basis and extending other web templates. We have an example of that. So let's just start with a simple configuration. So we have a customer's page on our portal. So we would like to place an entity list on this page, which is I have already created this view in accounts page for configuring the list. So we also have a product page, which is already configured. Mm-hmm. I think there is some network issue. Okay, yeah. So this is the product page which was already pre-configured. I haven't touched it. So it is the by default page which was there in the starter page. And we would like to configure the customers page, for an example, is a simple list of accounts. Then this is the web page, how it looks like, the preview of that web page. And the template I have selected is page with title, which provides a basic uh, page, a blank page with just the title of that web page. And here you can add the entity list. So the components here are already provided for you. So it is basically the drag and drop kind of functionality. So I will use the existing entity list that I have already created. If you want to create a new one, then you just have to create it by selecting the account, the entity on which your view is based and the particular view. And here are some of the settings, whether you would like to um, show this grid or allow the users to edit, record, or create or view or delete the record from the grid itself. As it is similar as we have in D365 apps and our model-driven apps. So the similar experience is provided here also. And we have additional settings to enable the search on this grid. So if we save this, so here you can see the code behind this page. So the web page is basically the HTML code, and the specific list that we added is added over here in the terms of liquid code. So this is as easy as like this is just a one statement when you where you have to configure your entity list and just include it by adding one statement. So that's done. It will store your the whole list of view. I mean the records of an entity.
Uh,
So
Hi Preeti. Yeah, sorry to disturb. How you have edited that code editor? I mean, how you opened that code editor from
yeah,
that list?
it is at the bottom here.
Okay, okay, okay.
You
Yeah,
see
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Another
Thank you.
method is there on the portal management app if you are very familiar or if you are
Yeah, yeah.
easy and if you feel easy to use, because that is a more convenient way.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So this page is saved and let's just see if it has got its effect on it. Okay, so here you can see the list of accounts that we have configured. And to add a small customization to this, I have added a JavaScript on the entity list. So we can address some requirement like you would like to highlight some rows based on an attribute. So you can do it using JavaScript or CSS. This view is specifically edited for highlighting some rows based on the category. So here I have a JavaScript that would so this is basically reading the whole entity grid, which is formed by that list. And it is accessing the attributes for the particular category. And based on the value of that category, we have assigned some background color for based on the row. So it will change the color of the row based on these category values. I think I have to refresh. Okay, so sometimes it might happen that your changes are not reflecting on the portal, then in that case you will have to refresh the cache or clear the cache of your portal, because it has a tendency to get the things from the cache as soon as as far as it is available. So it actually refreshes in regular time, but if you want to see the immediate effects of your changes, you would like to clear the cache. And this is the method to clear cache. It is important to be signed in as the admin portal. And accessing this URL, you will be able to clear the cache. So we'll take a second here. Okay, there it is. So the rows are colored based on these values. So it will be consistent whether you are sorting those data based on any of the columns. So this is the basic example with configuring the uh, inbuilt or the default components. Then if we would like to customize some layouts, like this is a fixed list of records that is shown in the manner which is here, like row-wise and in a table format. If we would like to change the layout of the same data that is shown, that has to be shown to your audience, then you would like to change the layout. So to change the layout, you will have to go and create some web templates, then inherit in them in the page templates, and ultimately you will be able to use the web pages to utilize or to consume those page templates. So here there is an example which will be demonstrating the same. So here we have tried to change the layout of same data with uh, a small tweak or some layout change. So it is a kind of account cards, small cards which with little details like the name and the website has the basic image or something.
Preeti, sorry to interrupt. This is Ankush.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about to be 1:30, so just a time check.
Yeah. I'll be winding up in 5 to 10 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay. So this is the layout of your custom list. I mean, the list custom layout of your entity list. So here, basically, I have used the fetch XML. You can also use those fetch XML in your liquid code. So the reason behind using those fetch XML is the list that we are getting in the entity list is does not provide the attribute image. So because that is basically the view, and view does not fetch the image. So fetching with XML provides you the access to such attributes which cannot be accessed with the advanced find or the view, the basic views. So if you look at the code behind this, then okay, so we have the web page here, which is for this directory. So this is the basic information page. Like I said, there are two metadata. One is root page and another is content. So your specific content goes to the localized content page, which is specific for every language. So right now I have only English as enabled for the student. We'll have only one content page. And if you look at the code of this web page, you can see I have created this web template, specific web template for account cards. which will the specific code will have a look later. And this is a contact list which is shown here, and it is also using the fetch XML. And I would like to demonstrate the ability of liquid templates here is manipulating the list. So by fetch XML, you get the list of your records in the variable and with attribute results. So these entities can also be grouped by a particular attribute. So here I have shown it with the parent customer. So these are grouped with these customers. So every every account will have their own contact persons in their group. So then you have to display those attributes. These are the simple tags. So you can access them from the liquid. Now, if we go to the account cards configuration, then we have I have created this account cards, and the specific layout for this is defined in this web template, where also I have used the fetch XML because there is an entity image involved in this. So basically, the fetch XML is used to fetch your data. It provides your result in the variable. Then you can access those results using these attributes. And there is a for loop. Interact the iteration flows which are also available in liquid tools. So it's a basic combination of HTML and liquid to provide a custom look for your web page. Another addition over here is to process the image. Since the image coming from CDS is a byte array, you will have to process it with a small JavaScript. So here is the script for that, and that also resides in the same page. So this is a whole combination which can render your script or HTML or liquid templates all together in single file. So this is basically this web page consists of a web template and the content on the web page itself. So as I earlier said that it can be a combination or you can use multiple layouts in the same page. So you can extend it as you want. And the last example is where I would like to show what other functionalities from liquid code is used. So here is a dashboard kind of page that I have created where you have a custom layout. So basically the layouts which are by default provided is the layout with the left pane and the main right side. Something is there with main left, main right, and on the left there are some additions. So if you don't like those basic configurations, then you can create your custom layout. So if you look at the configuration of dashboards, the page is created with a custom web template. And okay. So this page basically inherits the page with title, which we have used for the whole slide. It only involves the title of the page and the blank page. So that provides a basic layout for rendering the page. And in addition to that, we would like to add a layout, more layout. And that is here. Okay. So with a combination of HTML and some liquid codes, we have defined some blocks. So these are the blocks which can be further extended when included in a specific web page. So this is providing a generic layout and which has to be further inherited in another page like we do in basic programming languages. So here I have this empty slots for this block. These blocks will be further implemented in the web page that we have for dashboard. Going to the content of so you see for this whole content there goes just this much code of liquid templates. I mean the liquid code to build your interactive and good looking web page. So what basically we did is we extended another template. Web page is already it has already inherited a page template by default, and to extend all, in addition to that we are also extending another template which is named as custom layout for dashboard, and we had some blocks defined there which were left empty. So we are defining those blocks here. On first block, that is on the top left, I have included a chart. So this chart is also a tag which we have used to access the chart that we have defined in our model driven app. So this is basically based based on a view. So you just have to provide the GUID of that chart and the view on which the chart is based on. Another block implements the another web template which we already created. That is just one statement to include that web template. And then we have an entity list of the appointments that users have in their account. So this basically creates a summarized look for a dashboard. So these are some specific applications of basic liquid code. You can always go and extend the capabilities of liquid templating also. It has got a very wide scope of to be being able to extend any functionality or to address any specific needs of your consumers. Yeah, so I think I am done with the examples. So I'm open for any queries.
Yeah, great. It was great session, Preeti. We
Mm,
have a question from Nishigandha. Nishigandha,
Yes,
can you please unmute yourself and go with the query?
Yeah, Preeti.
yes.
Yeah. On entity list, if we are enabling the view details button and we are redirecting it to a entity form, let's say
Yes,
a web page, but on click of that view details button, if you
yeah.
want to redirect it into the web page into a new tab, how that can be done? I have done the hyperlink one, like on the
Mm-hmm.
first column of the entity list, we can hyperlink it and open it into a new tab. But I'm not able to do like on click of that button. So how can we achieve
Okay,
that
so
one?
are you looking for the click of the default action that is in entity list?
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
Because by
so
default, it is just opening the dialog.
yes. So that's a default. The functionality which the portal provides. If you would like to open it in another tab, you may want it to embed in some JavaScript or something like that, because default redirection is on the same page itself.
Mm, okay. So I have to go with the JavaScript only, custom
Yes,
JavaScript.
yes,
Okay. Actually, I'm a beginner for this portal, so
yeah.
I'm not aware of much syntax of this custom JavaScript. So could you just post any?
So
I mean, yeah,
so I'll add to this. There is an
sure.
area called as content snippets where you
Mhm.
use jQuery, and jQuery is known to most of the developers today. So
Yeah.
you have to check the rendering of your page and then find the right jQuery combination.
Mhm.
Ideally, I will try to push my customer not to be doing that, because the moment there is an update, that particular JavaScript might break again, and Microsoft does support it, but you'll need to keep maintaining it. So every time there is such a need, I will rather tell them to use the user interface that has been provided, and Microsoft is trying to move us away from going and opening so many windows and pop-ups, right? That's why keeping us on the same page. That is a feedback Microsoft has collected from a lot of customers. At current stage, most of the customers want to see things on the same screen, just like if I relate it to the model-driven app example of using quick creates now, right? So in a similar way, in the portal, they want you to see the details right there itself. Otherwise, you can do this. You can always also, you might know that the PCF support for portals is also coming now very soon.
Yes.
So
Yes, and that's
when it,
going to be pretty
yeah,
interesting.
yes, when it is out there, you can utilize that. Every time we do that as a technical consultant, I also started as a techie, right? So I will still try to tell my customer, my team lead, my project manager, my stakeholder, or the customer, see, the idea is to have the best user experience, and ideally it will be right at the pop-up, right? Otherwise, for just this view detail, you'll put a script there today, or you might put a component, and tomorrow, what's going to happen? That might break in the next update, or that might have be again needing to be maintained. And a low code, no code platform is being utilized not to put more and more code in there. We have a supporter of the low code, no code movement from Australia. Prashant will add to that. Sorry for hijacking this question, but I wanted to also put up this one.
Yeah, actually, the dialogue which by default it is coming, that is a little bit congested. So that's why to extend it, like to make it a little bigger, so that the data will be visible properly. So that's why they suggested me. I mean, we have implementing the trying to open it into new tab.
Okay.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Yeah, yeah. Thank you
That's
for the
all good. Preeti, would you be able to provide a docs.microsoft link in the chat after the session? Because Nishi said that she's a beginner and might need to get some more information. So if you can provide a link to something where people can learn would be great.
Yeah, definitely. I will.
Yeah. Thank you.
And this is Venkat. Just wanted to add some more thing. So as UCA is going to be present, it will be a mandatory, right? So just we have to, if we are customizing any of the fields like JavaScripts and all, we have to make sure that the code, whatever that we are going, as Deepesh and Prashant used to say, low code, no code, right? We have to be very particular about it. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yep. So Ankush, there is another question from.
No, I don't. Vivek, that was answered, I guess. Yeah. No other question. Any other questions?
Yeah, there was a question from Soumya, but that was not related to this topic. So both Ankush and I have answered it and suggested to attend the next two sessions on Power Apps.
Right.
Fine. Okay.
So
are we ready to wind up the session?
So
if there are no more queries.
Before you go, Preeti, you made sure that I'll come on cam, and I wanted to visually share this. This has been one of the best Power App portal sessions I've ever witnessed, and especially to do with liquid templates. Even with Microsoft Docs, anybody who is using portals for a while, I've been using it since the time from ADX. Documentation is very limited, and whatever you have showcased is just great. This is going to be a great learning and addition to the community side, to the point that I'll want to put this one as a special note to Microsoft as well. So thanks for taking all the hard time and effort to do this. I think this must have taken a lot of time from your end. So thank you for doing that for us.
Thank you for being able, for inviting me to this session. And I would like to thank the organizers and the sponsors of this session for me to providing this platform to share the knowledge that I have. So it was a great session, and I also believe in learning through sharing. So this is a very good initiative where we are also getting to learn, and we are also learning on the way. So it was a great experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Preeti.
this session was really insightful. There were so many things which also we put in the chat, that so many things we were also unaware about, the kind of tags or kind of what you can say as a code blocks which we can use over there. Yep. So that was really insightful, and we hope we have already discussed another session with Preeti, but that will be coming not very soon. There's another topic she'll be taking up on the Power App portals only, and we expect the same kind of depth knowledge on the technical side of that particular Power App portals. So thank you, Preeti. It was really a nice session, and thank you very for joining. Have a
And
nice
Preeti,
day.
all the hands you see raised are
Yeah.
actually applaud for you for this great session. And you might not
Thank you.
notice this, but I have
Yeah.
taken screenshots of your portal.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
really good.
I'm
You are
really glad that it worked and it helped so many
you
people.
are you are going to the crusader of the low code movement now, and this is gonna go places. I think Australia has taken it up, and thank you to the organizers as well, Prashant, Vivek, Roma, Ankush, Rachit. Some of you have been endlessly working as leads and supporting this movement. We do need more hand folks, right? That's the only reason I've come again out here. Like Preeti, I think I've been, and many people have been aware about Preeti, and she's came out finally, and we see such great content. You guys also have some talent out there, and why we should not learn from it. So please do that. There are links out there. This session will be available on Cham's YouTube channel as well. And I think how much time it took, Preeti, before we, from my end at least, I'll be quiet after that. How much time it took for you to configure everything in this
Well,
particular?
I was, conceptualizing the things since 15 days or things, but not everything was put on paper. But
Okay.
after the last session, that was one of my colleagues, Sagar.
Yeah.
After seeing that session, I really thought that it has to be a level up. So
Yeah.
the
So
champs
Sagar,
here are really resourceful. So I started putting up the things and preparing the examples that can be really insightful.
yeah, Sagar had done a level up for Champ meetup since last week. It has really gone up from the time Andrew started, right, Prashant?
Right.
Every other session has been one notch above. We have two more to go for this month, which is pretty. You also know, right?
Yes.
One is for Chennai. Dharani would not be around with us, unfortunately, due to some personal needs. He doesn't have bandwidth at this point. I'll be getting somebody to be a co-organizer. If somebody is from Chennai, that will be our first preference. Yavar is going to connect from all the way from down under, from Melbourne, I think, Prashant, right? To present on Teams and Power Apps. And then the last one is from our champ lead and tweet master and all the great things from South Africa. Roma is going to present on basics of Power Apps. So if you are planning to spend 1 hour out there, please do that, because these guys are spending 10 to 15 days, and each time I come out there or anybody comes out there, it takes us ample amount of time to do those sessions. We will only follow up with two more sessions for September, which is going to be around the first or third week. We have Kolkata and Ahmedabad pending in our meetup chain for this quarter, and we will be done. Why will be done? One of the reasons, I'll be very upfront and honest, is bandwidth. People need to come forward to assess this. To plan this one out, it took 4 to 6 hours for us, right? And the preparation for the speaker took even more time, right? So it's just like doing those tech fairs that we used to do in universities. If you feel like doing it, please come forward so that we can do more of this. And thanks to everybody for coming out today.
So as just adding to Dipesh, like we are not stopping for this session.